festival is 12 very, very hectic, sometimes very nail-biting, but always utterly, utterly wonderful and privileged days. Because there is such a richness of activity happening, everyone who comes to the festival has their own festival. And I think it's the sharing of the memory of all the films that they've seen that in some ways is the most potent legacy that lives on. This year, we've had a bigger and more widely geographically spread audience than ever before. In fact, our latest tally suggests that we've had attendances of 12% bigger than we've ever had. And we've had 149,000 people watching films in London alone, which is a testament to all the filmmakers. And that doesn't even include the many tens of thousands who have enjoyed some of our premieres, which we've been able to release across the country simultaneously, so more numbers to follow later. But obviously what this does do is that it reaffirms what we all know, our eternal belief that people in this country are really, really passionate about film and hungry for the broadest spectrum of cinema that the world can offer. My own memories of this festival are huge and wide and wonderful. They span the keynote address that we had from Harvey Weinstein, who raised the debate on piracy and media consolidation before treating us extraordinarily to an encyclopedic insight into his love of films. I have memories of red carpets on all sides of the square and very often at the same time, feting films from all corners of the world, to such an extent, I think, that audiences at times were clearly themselves getting confused as to who they were shouting for. I have glorious memories of spontaneous audience responses, from audience, for example, in Ben Affleck's Argo, or in Mira Nair's Reluctant Fundamentalist, or Kate Shortland's Law, and the gasps in David Ayer's End of Watch. I loved the ravishing colours in Midnight's Children, the compelling storytelling in Rust and Bone, and the endlessly inventive script in Seven Psychopaths, to the unbelievable riotous murder spree in Sightseers. We had Chris O'Dowd and the Sapphires singing at their own after-party, and we rock and rolled in this very cinema at the premiere of Crossfire Hurricane. And lingering always in my mind is that charming, funny, whimsical, sometimes dark Frankenweenie, and the poetic curtain of rain falling in 3D over audiences, which I think will remain etched into my retina for the rest of my life. And of course, there were all those films that got away that we didn't get to see that hopefully we'll be able to see in the year to come. Of course, the festival doesn't happen automatically, and my personal admiration couldn't be higher for all my colleagues across the BFI, who I want to take this moment to thank utterly from the bottom of my heart. Every department in the BFI is involved, from the festival team, box office, IT, marketing, PR, finance, the legal teams, distribution, curators, programmers. I'm bound to have forgotten somebody, but I think a particular mention this year must go to the technical and print distribution teams, because people think that digital cinema means it's easy, and it really isn't. And when you're putting together those files for 16 cinemas across Europe, I know that many of our colleagues didn't sleep at all some nights, which is extraordinary. We're also very, very blessed by a wonderful number of volunteers who gladly and with huge generosity of heart throw themselves into making this an event for everyone to remember. I pay tribute to the many generous companies that share our commitment to make this festival the best that it possibly can. And we're forever indebted to our lovely, lovely friends and principal sponsor at American Express. We thank Accenture, American Airlines, Nintendo, Xerox, Swarovski, Renault, TV5 Monde, the Mayfair Hotel, and the Mayor of London. And all our media and in-kind sponsors, too numerous to mention individually, but much valued and much loved nevertheless. Tonight might be the closing night of the festival, but it would be so sad indeed if we had to wait another year before we could all have fun again together. And luckily, starting tomorrow, actually, down at BFI South Bank and in cinemas across the country, we're going to be doing the most fabulous celebration of Ealing Cinema. And you should also stand by, you saw the trailer earlier, our big, big blockbuster next year is Gothic, so lots of good reasons to flood back into the cinema. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'm now going to introduce you to Clare Stewart, who is the Artistic Director of the Festival, who's going to introduce the film tonight. Clare.
Thanks, Amanda. One down. With 228 features and 111 shorts and over 570 filmmakers in town, it's been an extraordinary 12 days. And I congratulate and I thank all of the filmmakers whose work we've had the pleasure of presenting at this year's BFI London Film Festival. You have constantly surprised and challenged and delighted us, and it's been our privilege to introduce your films to audiences in the UK. To Londoners and our audience members across the UK and from around the world, you have come out in force for the festival, from BFI members and industry colleagues to first-time festival goers. Nothing beats the pleasure of the hum of anticipation as the lights go down at a premiere screening, and that palpable feeling of anticipation and a film connecting with an audience for the first time. There have been many extraordinary moments, and Amanda has mentioned some of them. I would particularly like to pay tribute to the films that trusted us with our big change this year, introducing official competition sections, and particularly to herald the winners that were announced at our awards ceremony last night. Jacques Audier's Rust and Bone, which won Best Film, Ben Zetlin's Beasts of the Southern Wild, which won the Sutherland Award, and Alex Gibson's Mia Maxima Culpa, Silence in the House of God, which won the Grierson Award. It was a personal pleasure, too, that the first film we invited into this year's program, not long after I arrived here in London, was acknowledged last night too, and that was with the Best British Newcomer Award that went to Sally Al-Husseini for My Brother the Devil. I'd also like to acknowledge the incredible support of the UK distributors, the studios and the international sales agents, as well as the independent production companies who signed up and supported the changes to this year's festival in such a big way. The results we've achieved, that increase in attendance, would not have been possible without your support, and I'm very, very grateful for it. There are many organisations and individuals who make the festival happen, and I'm grateful to all of them as well. However, I do want to single out the festival team. Tireless, dedicated, and sleep-deprived. You've been an amazing bunch of people to work with, and I can't wait for the next adventure. And that is extended as well to our volunteers. Visually ravishing and rippling with immediacy, Great Expectations provides a fitting conclusion not only to this year's festival, but also to London's bicentenary celebrations of Charles Dickens himself. It's a great pleasure to introduce you to two of the most prolific and indeed prominent producers in Britain. Would you please welcome Stephen Woolley and Elizabeth Carlson.
Thank you. Well, it's such an honour to be asked to present the closing night film at the London Film Festival. It really is, particularly in this Dickens bicentenary year. I'd like to thank Clare Stewart and Amanda Nevill of London Film Festival BFI for embracing the film in the way they have done. Like any film, this is the result of an incredible collaboration of many talented people, both in front of and behind the camera, both financial and creative, and Stephen, my partner, will thank some of those.
Yeah, I'll be as quick as I can because I get the really boring bits here. But it's not boring to us, of course. We really want to thank the BFI who supported us really from the bottom of our hearts. They really backed us to the hilt in the production of this film. Christine Langan and the BBC were also incredibly supportive. So a couple of unsung financiers, Lip Sync, who without their help we wouldn't have got here tonight. We want to thank Unison, our financing partners, and David Falkenblum and Emmanuel Michael, who really were the financing producers of the film. And I really just want to thank everybody here and everybody involved in the movie. And I think we're going to now turn over to you, Claire.
I get the privilege of welcoming the director of tonight's film. He's brought us extraordinary films in the past, including Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire and Four Weddings and a Funeral. We're delighted that he's here with us this evening. Will you please join me in making welcome Mike Newell?
Thank you for having us. It's a wonderful thing for us to come and be the last night movie here. It's very exciting. It's lovely to see you all. It's marvelous to have your welcome. Thank you. But for me, I've got something that is tremendous. I've got lots and lots of the actors. Now, I'll go really quickly, but it will amuse the hell out of me to see so many of the people that I haven't seen since we finished the movie. First, the wonderful screenwriter, David Nichols. Up you come, David. Okay. Now, I think the actors should run if they can. First off, with the daftest hairstyle in the whole movie, Joe Jameson, who plays a character called Startop. Run, Joe! And then, the young man who has arguably the funniest single moment in the whole movie, Charlie Callahan, playing the young Herbert Pocket. And then, part of a wonderful sister act playing young Biddy, B.B. Cave, followed immediately by her sister Jessie Cave. And then, darling Helena Barlow, who plays young Estella, and how gorgeous she is. Look up. And then we have Toby Irvin, who plays young Pip. Run, Toby. Come on, Toby. Run, run, run. And then we have Ben Lloyd Hughes with the second most extraordinary hairstyle, who plays the villain Bentley Drummle. We have Ollie Alexander, who plays Herbert Pocket, or Alec Guinness as we know him. We have Tamsin Outhwaite, who plays the mysterious Molly. We have David Williams, who plays the impossibly named Pumblechook. We have Jason Fleming, who plays Joe Gargery. See what I mean? There's a lot of them. We have Ewan Bremner, who plays Mr. Remick. And Robbie Coltrane, who plays, is Robbie there? Is he, he's staying seated. Robbie is staying seated, but you should applaud him nonetheless. Thank you, Robbie. And we have Rafe Fiennes, please, playing Magwitch. We have the adorable fellow Helena Bonham Carter, who plays Miss Havisham. And then, lastly, we have two gorgeous pieces of horseflesh playing old Estella and old Pip. No, not old, of course, not old. Holiday Granger and Jeremy Irvin. Okay, listen, we're done. We will not detain you longer. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having us. It's such a blast to be here. And thanks to everybody who brought us here in the first place. Good night. I hope you enjoy the movie.